Jay-Z and Charlemagne have set off a storm that nobody was prepared for, and the center of it all is Nicki Minaj. What began as a simple moment on a radio show has spiraled into one of the biggest celebrity conspiracies the internet has seen in years. For the longest time, people believed Diddy was the mastermind behind Wendy Williams' conservatorship. But according to Nicki, everything the public thought they knew was wrong. She's pointing the finger in a completely different direction, toward Jay-Z, Roc Nation, and the powerful media networks surrounding them. And she believes the same people who supposedly took down Wendy are now gearing up to do the same thing to her. Nicki says the rumors about her being unstable, erratic, or using substances aren't random gossip. She believes they're planted narratives designed to make people comfortable with the idea of someone else taking control of her life. According to her, there's a plan in motion. Make the world believe she's struggling, and then quietly push her toward a conservatorship that strips her of her rights, just like what happened to Wendy. It's a bold claim, and it starts in an unexpected place. The spark came from an interview with Gucci Mane and his wife Kasia Kawire on The Breakfast Club. The conversation began on a positive note, with Kasia explaining how she helps Gucci stay grounded when he's going through something. She shared how she deletes his apps, hides his phone, and steps in before he posts anything impulsive online. The audience saw it as a supportive moment, a wife protecting her husband's career, but then, out of nowhere, DJ Envy jumped in with a comment that instantly shifted the energy. He randomly brought up Nicki's name, claiming she was one of the artists Gucci helped in the past who never acknowledged him. His remark came with no context, no lead-in, nothing. It was the definition of messy, and everyone in the room felt the temperature change. The problem? What Envy said simply wasn't true. Nicki has thanked Gucci publicly, repeatedly, and even internationally. She acknowledged him during her Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award speech, a moment broadcast to millions. She's credited him in interviews for giving her early exposure. So Envy's claim felt less like a mistake and more like bait. And unfortunately for him, Kasia took it, adding fuel to a fire that didn't need to exist. What should have been a casual discussion about loyalty suddenly turned into gossip about Nicki. And that moment, that tiny comment tossed out with a smile, was the domino that sent everything crashing forward. Nicki clapped back quickly, calling Kasia jealous and saying she'd been copying her for years. But the clapback wasn't the real headline. It was the accusation Nicki made next. She said the drama wasn't about jealousy at all. It was a distraction from a much bigger story happening behind the scenes. Nicki then pointed directly at Charlemagne and Jay-Z, implying that both men had roles in Wendy Williams' downfall. According to Nicki, Wendy was doing fine until Charlemagne re-entered her life. And from there, everything collapsed. Her show, her health, her finances, all while rumors swirled and her team fell apart. Nicki took it a step further by mentioning the disturbing incidents at her own home, where the police were called repeatedly over fake emergencies. She claims this wasn't random trolling. She says Roc Nation paid to keep certain details quiet so the truth about who orchestrated the calls would never be revealed. To her, it wasn't harassment. It was stage setting. If enough emergencies were reported, the public would start to believe she was unstable. And if they believed that, the next step, the step she fears most, would be easy to justify. While the internet debated her claim, someone else jumped into the conversation. Tasha K. The controversial YouTuber known for stirring chaos immediately backed Nicki and claimed she had insider information about a plan to force Nicki into a conservatorship. According to her, certain industry players want Nicki declared legally unfit so they can take control of her fortune. But Tasha said they overlooked one major obstacle. Nicki is married. If anything were to happen, the law says her husband, Kenneth Petty, automatically becomes the person responsible for her finances. Not a lawyer, not a company, not an outside guardian, her spouse. And that, Tasha claimed, is the problem. Because while Nicki might be vulnerable alone, she's not alone. Which means someone else would need to be discredited or removed before any type of guardianship could happen. That's why, according to Tasha, rumors began surfacing about Kenneth stealing Nicki's money and maxing out her cards. If the public believes he's untrustworthy, a court could argue he shouldn't be allowed to manage her estate. It's a chilling theory. First weaken her credibility, then weaken the credibility of the person protecting her, and once both look unstable, step in and take control. Tasha pointed out that Wendy Williams and Britney Spears were both single or divorced when their guardianships happened. They didn't have a spouse to legally shield them, but things didn't stop there. Tasha claimed she had even more shocking information, including a digital betrayal. She alleged that Nicki's ex-assistant stole her Apple ID login and gave it to Ra Yali, Nicki's one-time friend turned rival. Soon after, thousands of dollars started disappearing from Nicki's credit cards. Nicki herself posted about the fraudulent charges on Instagram, which led many people online to blame. Kenneth, Cardi B even chimed in, tweeting that Nicki had been diagnosed bipolar and that Kenneth was running up her bills. But Tasha said Cardi's tweets weren't the truth. She claimed Ra Ali was the one behind the financial theft, using insider access to pull card details and drain money. She even said Ra swings both ways and suggested her assistant was now working as Ra's babysitter and companion. Every detail added more chaos, and the more people tried to figure out who was telling the truth, the more confusing the situation became. While the internet debated every rumor, Nicki escalated the fight in her own way. She posted a series of AI-generated videos showing Jay-Z and Beyoncé's closet, acting out in ways that left viewers stunned. Her caption was chilling. "I am your karma." The meaning wasn't clear, but it felt like a warning. A message aimed at someone she believed was behind the scenes pulling strings. Then suddenly, Nicki's Instagram disappeared. No warning. No explanation. Fans split instantly into two groups. The ones who believed it was a coincidence and the ones who were convinced powerful people wanted her quiet. Nicki didn't disappear, though. She returned to X and celebrated her anniversary with Kenneth, posting photos that felt less like romance and more like defiance. Her message was simple. She's not going anywhere, and neither is her marriage. Supporters poured into her comments, insisting they believed every word she said. They pointed out how often celebrities get labeled crazy right before the truth comes out. They mentioned Britney, they mentioned Kanye, they mentioned Wendy, all people who were mocked before the real story surfaced. Meanwhile, skeptics argued that Nicki looked like she was spiraling and that she should take a break from social media. But even among doubters, curiosity lingered. What if there was some truth to the story? What if Nicki wasn't unraveling? What if she was warning everyone? The debate exploded further when Tasha K returned with a thread explaining that Nicki didn't have schizophrenia and that people misunderstand mood disorders. She mentioned how Kanye was nearly placed under a guardianship after speaking his mind. She mentioned Michael Jackson, saying he left too soon under questionable circumstances. She mentioned Britney escaping the US temporarily after her conservatorship ended, and she suggested that Nicki's story fits into a bigger pattern. A pattern of the industry turning against its biggest stars when they stopped cooperating. The story kept twisting as more screenshots surfaced. Fans dug up Cardi B's old tweets claiming they predicted Nicki's credit card situation. Meme pages ran wild with jokes about Kenneth sneaking around with a Hello Kitty credit card. At the same time, others connected dots between Rock Nation, influential radio personalities, and online narratives that always seem to appear at the perfect moment. Rumors, claims, counterclaims, AI videos, deleted posts, everything fused into a massive whirlwind. And through it all, one question kept floating to the top. Is Nicki exposing the truth about an industry filled with manipulation, control, and power? Or is she becoming the target of the very machine she's accusing? Her supporters say she's finally had enough and the world is watching her fight back. Her critics say she's unraveling under pressure. But everyone, supporters, skeptics, and people who barely follow celebrity news, feels that something isn't right. The timing, the silence from certain figures, the sudden appearance of rumors, The sudden disappearance of her Instagram. It all feels too coordinated to ignore. And so the world is left with a mystery. Is Nicki Minaj sounding the alarm about a system that has already taken down other stars? Or is she being pushed into a narrative she can't control? Until the truth surfaces, the debate only gets louder, and this story is far from over.